Good evening, and welcome once again to the Shadow Gallery. As always, I'm your host, James Donnelly. And tonight we are going to talk movies because we're going to talk about the film Source Code, Duncan Jones's Source Code, from the director of Moon, which was a pretty successful little indie film. Pretty much a one-man show. Sam Rockwell, the actor extraordinaire that he is. Although most of you probably know him from either Charlie's Angels or Iron Man 2. But this, of course, features Jake Gyllenhaal, lovely Michelle Monaghan, lovely Vera Farmiga, and the unexpectedly paunched Jeffrey Wright. All very fine actors in their own right. Jake Gyllenhaal was actually the only one that I was kind of unsure about because the other three are pretty damn good actors. But Gyllenhaal really pulls something off pretty extraordinary in this film. And this has been probably one of the most well-received films of the year. And when I saw it today, I understood why. I'm not going to get too heavy into the actual activities in the film because talking about one thing could open up this whole kind of wave of spoilers, and I don't want to do that here. But essentially, if you've seen some of the ads, essentially it's about an Air Force captain who was serving in Afghanistan, who is selected to become part of an experiment called Source Code, which basically is explained in the film as being an incident where you can go into, where after death, basically, the brain has approximately 8 minutes of short-term memory, and he can enter through this source code program to essentially an alternate reality, and basically is assigned because a train. See, I'm screwing this all up. Okay, plot. Train blows up in Chicago. There's a threat of of a dirty bomb to go off in the city. One of the passengers on that train is the person that Jake Gyllenhaal's character, who is the army captain that we're talking about, jumps into. Basically, kind of a quantum leap type of thing, and his job essentially is to identify the bomber so that they can stop the subsequent attack. Now, make no mistake, this is not a film about time travel. This is a film about alternate realities. Because, essentially, knowing that any activity that's, that part of the problem with time travel films is that knowing that any activity that someone who travels from the future to a past event could ripple throughout all of reality. The butterfly effect, if you will. Not necessarily talking about the film there, but that is where the film gets its main idea from, is that one change could change the entire, change the whole world. So we're treated to some really fine supporting performances from Michelle Monaghan, who, absolutely fell in love with in the film Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. If you haven't seen that film, go and rent it immediately, because it's one of the best action comedies of the last, I don't know how long. Jeffrey Wright, who's good pretty much as always, and Vera Farmiga, who, I liked her okay in The Departed, but I loved her in Up in the Air, and she was really good in this film. Essentially, it's a genre bending film because it presents itself as basically sci-fi, but it's more than that. It's a story about not necessarily redemption, but closure, and a story about and a love story, really. And honestly, that's what makes some of the best filmmaking out there, is when you can take one film, when you can take a genre of film and you can make a film that actually works on several different levels. And Source Code is one of those rare examples where you can, really do something different, as opposed to just presenting it as just straight up, sci-fi thriller, which it does obviously have those, because some moments are very like edge of your seat thrilling or mind bending, which this movie definitely has some extremely mind bending moments, a little unsettling at points, but at its heart is about it's about surprises. It's real. I mean, the film has its surprises, but it's about essentially kind of the element of surprise, if that makes sense. In the sense that, things that are expected to go one way can sometimes go another and be more than you ever thought possible. Jake Gyllenhaal is really good in this film. And I've had some problems with his work over the years, just because he doesn't seem fully committed a lot of times, or else he just seems a little bit too weak for the role that he was chosen for. I kind of felt that with Brokeback Mountain, which is, arguably his most famous role, I would say. But this is definitely a really good performance and just a really excellent film. I mean, Duncan Jones really does a great job of not miring the audience down in too much techno speak. He does a really good job of selling emotion. I shouldn't say selling that, but conveying it to the audience, and just bringing a really good narrative structure throughout the film. And and making it entertaining and extremely thought-provoking, and just really 9 out of 10, I would say, on my scale, because it's a really, really good piece of filmmaking. So so please go see it, because it is that good. So that's pretty much it for this installment of the Shadow Gallery. So thanks again for tuning in. Subscribe, don't like, comment, but give a shout. Just let us know how you're doing. Thanks again to all my subscribers and all my friends on YouTube. And keep it up. The Shadow Gallery will be returning later in the week, possibly in the next couple of days, to discuss, because some people have asked me, what is my favorite comic book character? Well, I have a favorite superhero, but you haven't heard my favorite comic book character yet. You will this week. I'll give you a hint. He's not just a comic book character. He appears in other works of literature. But to you comic fans out there, he's pretty fucking cool. So, anyway, thanks for checking it out. Come back for what will be a series of videos. I'm sure it'll probably be about at least 30 minutes in length. So, pack a lunch and stay for the day. So, until next time, take care, all you Gallerians. So long.